Kane is in the building.
Hey, welcome to Talking Sip. Jim Battenfield here, and I'm here with several members of Blue Mountain. We're doing something a little different. That'll be this week's episode. We're all up at the Masters Invitational at the Chattanooga Convention Center this weekend. This episode will come out next week, which if you're seeing it now, it's next week. So it's going to be a little different because we're just doing one camera, and we're just going to pass it. A couple familiar faces here, and I'm going to just kind of pass it around, and I'll ask them some stuff as we go, and ask them about their journey in powerlifting, and they'll tell you about themselves and all that. Cordarius has already been on the show, so I'm going to start with Zay.
I'm Xavier Herrod, 3-time 110 national champion, and I attended Blue Mountain Christian University for 5 years, graduating with a bachelor's degree in exercise science and working on my master's currently.
So tell me, I know you stayed pretty busy at Collegiate. Tell me a little bit about your coaching experience while you were there. I know you handled several people. Kind of who was the most fun? Who was fun? You didn't expect to be fun. What'd you think about getting a little taste of that side?
Yeah, Coach Jay prepares us all the time. So like, if we have like a local meet somewhere like in Hattiesburg or like Alabama or something, like he'll let us handle people so he can kind of prepare us for the moment, for the big moment. And I coach at Oxford, and I was just kind of like used to it. But the experience, like with Zebo, for reference, Zebo was a guy that's, like you ain't got to talk to him as much. Like just let him listen to his music and put his numbers in, and he gonna go out there and make it do what it do. Kind of, I had a pretty easy week. I had Jaden Lowe, I had Lawrence Jones, I had Zebo and a couple other guys. All my guys were pretty like I didn't have to say too much to them. Like they just go lift, man. But my job was easy.
Well, we know most of it was easy. What about when y'all had to cut the toes out of Zebo's socks since he didn't wear the right socks?
So with Zebo, he swears up and down he don't wear deadlift socks. So of course he didn't have his socks going over there. Coach Jay said, "Hey man, where your socks at?" So we went to go put the socks on, and we pulled them up. And when we got to the front, he was like, "Hey, they not high enough." When we was finna get ready to walk out, and so man, we pulled him up as far as we could, and he went and got the lift, and they came back there and told us that he gonna have to pull the socks up. So we just went and cut him out and pulled him up.
So I remember when that rule started, we missed the update because it was the first meet of a new year, and it was only the second meet I had taken people to, and I had to send somebody's mom to Walmart. At Walmart, they didn't have no cheap deadlift socks. It wasn't like it is now. You got A7 at every meet selling stuff. Shout out to A7, never stops progress. We are looking for sponsors all the time. But anyway, yeah, that just wasn't a thing. So we had to go pay $20 a pair for some soccer socks, and so it's kind of cool. Everybody's wearing the same black and white socks. So tell me a little bit about what you got going on. What you got going on next? Are you planning to lift here in a couple months up in Pennsylvania, or what's next on the agenda for you?
I'm probably gonna take a couple years off, just to build myself financially. When you leave school, you gotta do it on your own, man. It's you kind of gotta find that drive to want to do it. But I work out like I'm consistent working out. Like I still work out 4 days a week. It's just not on the collegiate level. On the level that I was like when I was working out at Blue Mountain.
We'll see if it lasts that long. Hopefully, we can find a way to tempt you back into doing something before then.
Yeah, man.
I hear there's a meet coming up in August, and there's some stuff that hasn't been announced yet. So maybe some of that will grab your attention. Well, we'll kind of come back to everybody as well, but now let's let Jalen go a little bit. Go ahead and tell them about yourself. And
I'm Jalen Davenport. Kind of had the same background as Zay just said, just without the national championships. I've been a runner-up All-American a couple times, though.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You just got to keep chopping wood, baby.
Yeah, just coaching, pursuing a master's in the same thing, kinesiology. That's about it.
Yeah, well, so remind me, and I apologize because there's so many of you cats in Blue Mountain. You had some extra stuff go on last year in Atlanta, is that correct?
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Kind of had some technical health problems that popped up, equilibrium problems, lost my hearing, still trying to find out that was going on with it. I just had surgery, so I got my hair back now. But
Nice. Well, that's awesome to hear. So that's a good update. That worked out good. I got a good update. I wasn't even caught up with that yet. So that's good stuff. So what's next on your agenda?
well, actually, I talked with a couple of people today. I'm gonna try to pursue my to get a degree so I can start teaching high school and
Nice.
coaching for the football team down in my hometown in Vicksburg.
So are you on Vicksburg side of the Gators?
No, I'm a Central guy.
So did you live for Chad McMullen or did you miss him?
Yeah, that was my coach.
Man, me and Chad go back like a Cadillac on four flats. We didn't like each other when we first met, and I know it really, so many people in the powerlifting community he had a positive impact on, and he had a positive relationship with. We had plenty of things we liked to mess with him on, particularly the down, 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 up. We couldn't ever get him to stop that. But I've seen him really have some studs throughout the years, and he great coach and a better man. And the world is a worse place for not having him around anymore. I normally wouldn't promote a meet that doesn't have anything to do with USA Powerlifting, but the weekend before we are doing the Meltdown on the Mississippi in Vicksburg, they're going to do a Chad McMullen Memorial meet. So if you are looking for something to do, maybe you want a little tune up before you do the Meltdown, or maybe you just want to go hang out and talk to some folks about a great man. It's something I would go check out.
Yeah, that's a push pull meet. It's not a technical full power.
Well, that's so
his style.
for sure. I was there when Chad hit that 600 bench press he hit. It was a great day. I could say a lot about Chad over the years. Me and him had a great relationship, and we always stayed in touch pretty well. So, what are you wrapped up? You're wrapped up at Blue Mountain. Then this was your last collegiates.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to come back and help coach or help spot? I know you're obviously spotting and loading.
Yeah, I was a GA this year, and I helped him coach.
Nice.
So depending on what happens with the school next year, that's what a base
Nice.
coming back over.
I tell you what, that's how I got involved, or kept involved. I lifted obviously, and then I found out I was a much better coach and administrator. So I started coaching immediately after I graduated, and never looked back. Straight on till morning. All right.
Hi, I'm Jenna Cale. I'm a sophomore at Blue Mountain, and I've been powerlifting for my 4th year. So, been to CNATS a few times, but haven't done what I wanted to yet. So,
Well, that's okay. With you being just a sophomore, there's much to go. Now, I know we traded some texts the other day talking about some things that are upcoming. Those 210 area codes to TWHPA. I messed up the abbreviation, but Texas High School Powerlifting. So tell us a little bit about that, because, man, that is a juggernaut.
it's a full 180 from USAPL.
Yeah, well, besides that aspect, I mean, just the amount of lifters that you run into, and you always see some crazy numbers, and there have been just countless people. We used to, so you may not be familiar with this, when we were part of the IPF, I was an assistant on the team that we would take to Worlds for sub-junior and junior, which was 14 to 18 and 19 to 23. Well, we basically would watch the Texas high school state meet and go, okay, well, there's 6. There's 7. It was just a matter of getting people to USA Powerlifting. So we're glad to have you in USA Powerlifting, because getting that transition from Texas is a tough deal. But it's one of those things where if you can just get a couple, they can really do some damage. So I'm sure there's some great things coming in the future. What do you have? What do you have on the agenda for this summer or upcoming?
This summer, I'm going home, just trying to get in the gym and build more muscle, try to turn things around there. But we're planning on coming and spotting the Raw and Equip Nationals as a team, so see us there.
So where are you at in Texas? I mean, don't tell us like the exact location or anything. We don't need anybody trying to stalk you. But
I say San Antonio, but I'm like an hour outside.
So like going like Seguin way or going south, or I knew a little bit about Texas, but it's a very large state.
It's, I guess, up to like Kerrville. So.
All right. So and I'm sure no shortage of powerlifting gyms, even being somewhere small like that.
I mean, where I live, I have to drive pretty far, but there's TSS down there, so that's a really good place to work out. But there's other small powerlifting friendly gyms that I try to go to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, anytime you can get some work in at TSS, that's always helpful as well. And then if you can just kind of, mix it up or whatever. I mean, it's not hard to find any powerlifters in Texas for sure. All right, anything you'd like to add before we pass to Zebo?
No, I don't think so.
Oh boy, the camera. Oh, look at me, man.
Press on
I
that.
love it, man. My name's Xavier Zebo Vanderson, man. The sexiness of the South. There's a reason why the South is hot. It's because of me, man. I am a 125 kg. This year was my first equipped Nats, and I got an All American. So I'm very happy about it. You know what I mean? Like that's how it is. So I just love my team, man. I just love all of them, man.
So hey, I want to Zebo. We're known for our modesty a little bit.
Modesty.
Yeah.
That's the
No, I'm talking about normally we're known for our modesty.
The thing about people is, man, people lack confidence, bro. People walk around here with their head down, man. You got to show people what you did. It's not cockiness if you did it. It's just confidence. It's the same thing. I back up everything I say, and I back up it this year. That's all I did, man.
All right. So was this you said this your first equip? So was this your first collegiates?
First equip. I was my first collegiate in my sophomore year. I was raw.
Well, I'm glad you saw the light and came to the dark side.
No.
So
How can you go to the light if you see dark? You know what I mean?
the dark side is equip. That's me. I'm an equip guy. I love equip. I love powerlifting in general, but if you can throw some suits and wraps on, that's more my flavor. I prefer. So I did get an opportunity to watch your performance at collegiates because I was on the jury.
Luckily, we got it done. We got the 9 for 9 day. We kept on going. That's all that matters. I got points for my team, and luckily we came where we was.
Gotcha. All right. What do you got coming? What's coming on deck for Zebo?
Man, I call this summer Black Summer, man. I'm just gonna live life, compete. But up next for me is gonna be E-Nats for sure. I want my pro card. My pro card most definitely next, man. I want to see it. I want to be the first pro like powerlifter, weightlifter that came out of my city. That's always an inspiration.
You're a Natchez guy, right?
Yes, sir.
You know Joe Johnson?
Yeah.
Me and Joe go way back. I've been around that joke I was talking about before we went on. I've been around since late 1900s. So all these old cats I know. I'm just old enough to know them, but I'm still young enough to be around and mess with y'all and know about some of the TikTok trends to mess with y'all about. No cap.
All right.
All right. So we're going to go from one extreme to the other because now we're going to go to Cordarius. Why don't you slide down a little bit so you ain't got
Man, of course my phone.
Big man.
What up, Stay Ready?
What up, man? What up?
Welcome back as our second time guest. So what's been going on since episode 1?
Well, man, as you know, I'm at Blue Mountain instructing. I already got my degree, my graduate degree, and all that. And let's see what else. I'm back at it with training, getting prepared for Equip Nationals and all that. Trying to see if I can get Natty number 10.
Yeah, that's a big deal to get in double digit club on nationals. I'll tell you what. One thing we didn't talk about last time because we were keeping humble and just talking about general stuff. But now that Zebo has done thrown the humble out of the window, let's talk a little bit about your IPF world title that you won about 8 years ago this summer. One thing that everybody may not know, but I remember like it was yesterday. So for those that may not know as you're listening, when we were part of the IPF and we took kids to sub and junior or to senior worlds, we would get a sponsorship opportunity for Titan and Insert. Like they couldn't pick both, they could pick one or the other. And you got your gear in and you got to train in it a total of one time, is that correct?
One time.
And then somebody stole it out of his locker. That was very nice of his favorite Lake Cormorant Gators.
Bleed green still.
Yeah, but yeah, stole out of there. And then not only that, it was your first time flying, is that right?
It was my first time flying.
So that World Championship took place in Orlando at the Hyatt, as we had many meets there over the years. And we rounded up some gear because fortunately we had some coaches that were pretty handy with coming up with that stuff. I know old Rowdy Dowdy was there. He's down at Tallahassee doing the thing now. Go Knowles. And I know he had a birthday recently. I talked to him, trade message with him a couple of days ago. But yeah, so between him and Coach John Burford and myself, and I believe John Magini may have sent some stuff. I mean, we kind of called in everybody and put together some gear, and we found something that worked. And you literally tried it on in the weight room or the warm-up area, and saw what fit, And then what'd you do?
I said we ball. We just gonna do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
It was a Rocky versus the Russian moment all over. So
Yeah, that was before Russia got kicked out for a bit. I don't keep up with enough to know if they're back involved again now. That was quite fun. I tell you, one of the funniest things about that particular championship is we were joking about how bad Mississippi is on the bench press, and then we had three Mississippians on the sub junior team that year because we had yourself and Jadarius Hodges from Lake Cormorant, and some guy named Austin Perkins. I mean, he hadn't really done anything since. We know, but we were talking about how bad Mississippi was on the bench, and then you and Austin go out and get golds on the bench press. And I was like, oh,
I actually pulled for a world record.
Yeah.
Bench.
But yeah, it was quite the experience. So talk a little bit about the opportunity to represent your country. I know you went through the one thing I didn't mention. I talked about was your first time flying. Well, he ends up getting redirected because of a hurricane, and I'm sitting down on my plane, right about to put my plane on airplane mode, and then I get a message from Cordarius. My flight just got canceled, and he was in Houston, and that's where the hurricane was. And
Harvey.
Yep, I had Hurricane Harvey.
I remember it.
Hurricane Steve Harvey. Man, somebody get this man. But anyway, so that's the last thing I get before I have to turn my phone off. So I have to send a message to Burford and to Rowdy. I was like, hey, Burford, here's Stay Ready's number. You and Rowdy figure it out. I'll see y'all in an hour. And sure enough, I touched down in Orlando and I go get my stuff and I turn on my phone. First thing I see, he's in the air. Remind me, did they end up getting you on another airline or what did they end up doing?
His name is Brian. Did not fly Spirit. Bougie back then, you know. But his name was Brian. He was the guy that helped me throughout the whole thing. Made sure I was straight, made sure I was good. So I had to fly back to Dallas. Then from Dallas, I had to go to Orlando.
Gotcha.
So when I made it there, it was 12 o'clock at night. And that same day, I had to compete.
Yeah.
So you yourself told me, go get some rest.
Yep.
We'll figure it out in the morning. I'm like, all right, cool. Got up, and the experience I had for it, it was a memorial type of experience, you know? Like, it's one that people don't usually get, especially from Mississippi. Like, we don't get this opportunity a lot, and anytime you take the chance and get that opportunity, take it and do your best, because you never know the outcome.
Yeah. That's one thing I've been telling everybody. They're worried about. I've had people talk about, oh man, it's so expensive to go to Seoul. Well, guess what? It is, but if things go well, chef's kiss. But yeah. So any questions you guys want to ask each other? Stay ready. Got the phone first. Oh, never mind. I'm passing the phone to Jim, so I don't have to do this.
So can we know more about the meltdown?
Yeah. So I do have some bells and whistles that I'm going to keep under my hat, but I'm pretty excited for it. I talked a little bit about the history on that on episode 1, so I'll touch on it again real quick in case maybe we picked up somebody that hadn't seen that. But in 1979, there was actually a championship meet that was on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in Bay St. Louis where the AC went out. It was actually at St. Stanislaus, which is the birthplace of ADFPA, which is what became USA Powerlifting. And the AC went out, so nobody could grip the bar. And I mean, people were even tearing biceps trying not to bomb out. And I mean, there were some names that even if you don't know the history of powerlifting, you see those names, you go, that guy lifted? Yeah. It's a long list. But I invite you, if you don't know about that, check it out, know your history. Brandon's kind of doing his own thing, but Brandon's in here. So we're just going to let Brandon just kind of say, hey. Hi. So we have the last two state chairs of Alabama rooming together and chilling here with Blue Mountain. I believe that kind of does it for me. You guys want to? All right, we already know Stay 2 ready. You want to shout your social? Golly, yeah, your social media, not your social security.
I think it's Zay_here on Instagram. That boy _22 on Snapchat.
Godfather.Zebo.
All right, well, you got do what? Well, anyway, I guess that about does it for me. That about does it for us. We hope you guys have tuned in and watched the Masters Invitational over the weekend. We're hoping to see some great lifting. There's going to be some great spotting, that's for sure. And I'll be there on the jury, and Brandon will be there refereeing and doing those kind of things. But we'll see you guys next week.